I do my very best to try to connect the dots to the past because I truly believe that the past is prologue. I try to reach people that are not aware of the information that I provide and the direction that I lead folks to see their own truth, to find their own truth, to do the research and to understand why certain things are just taboo and never talked about, like the Federal Reserve, like the United Nations takeover of the United States by treaty. All of these things, the attacks on our sovereignty, how patriots who are defending the Constitution are attacked, like the situation with the Bundy Ranch, and now this situation in Oregon with a person that's been shot. Whether I don't know, I haven't saw a lot of video, but no video about what actually happened to this guy, Lavoie. I don't know. I mean, but still, my point is that the government is more and more infringing upon the rights of the United States citizens, the citizens of America, we the people. And it can't be denied, and we must look to history to see this. Now, it's done stealthily. It's been done stealthily. It's dismissed in the media and dismissed by people in the establishment as part of the media. These people make millions and millions of dollars, and they're going to keep their thing going. They talk about helping the little guy. Same thing with the politicians. Helping the little guy. Nobody helps the little guy. They never have, they never will. Socialism doesn't work because as soon as they put the dictator in power, he destroys the country. This has happened over and over again. In Cuba, this has happened in going further back, of course, with Lenin and the purges and Stalin and the purges. And the quote-unquote government for the workers, for the people, doesn't work. It's the people who are the government, and not the state. The state cannot provide for the people. The reason America thrives as much as it has, and still does, but now it's more and more of the wealthy people are taking advantage of it because they're creating a permanent subclass, a permanent welfare class that are distracted by TV, that are distracted by the movies with all of their symbolisms, all of these horrible, horrible subliminals that are being shown, things that you really need to read a book called Subliminal Seduction to understand this. But there's also metaphorical messages and symbolic things with all the Madonna Super Bowl shows and the choice of the costumes. It's not just theater. It's not just art. Okay? All right? It's ritual. And there's a reason for it, because there's a brotherhood. And I'm going to go into the depths of this, the secret societies and the New World Order, from Behold the Pale Horse to really illustrate it in its depth and clarity that needs to be addressed. But what's going on now let's look at the crime. South America, all of these people in South America, criminals, the highest crime rate in the world. I have a link I'll put to this presentation on howardnima.com. And Brazil, high crime. The economy's in the toilet. Same things happening to them that happened to Argentina at the turn of the century, around 2000, 2002. They had food riots. They had lawlessness, craziness, insanity. People were stealing food. Trucks of food were being delivered, and people were hijacking food trucks. Socialism, this is what happens. And when the currency has crashed. Now, the IMF have a few people on their list, and this is what they do. The IMF Bank, they all come in as after the people either destroy themselves from their own, if you give the people, you give somebody an apple, they want, a piece of steak. It just keeps going that way. That's why you have to make people self-sufficient and that they can get what they work hard for. Because otherwise you create a very lazy class. Look what's happening in Europe. Nobody wants to blame the liberalism and the progressivism and all of this as being unsustainable. We have $19 trillion of debt. I mean, this is just logical. Why are you denying the reality because of talking points of the people who are getting all the money, the rich people? These billionaires and millionaires really, for the most part, do not care about you. Anything that's part of this establishment doesn't care about you. They say they're working for the people. They say they're doing this, they say they're doing that, but it always goes to the special interests. Always. And there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. So the IMF Bank, which what they did to Argentina is unbelievable. They stole all of their minerals and resources, all of their assets, took over all of their assets, their water and electrical and all of this, so that they would bail them out of their misery with these loans. These evil people at the IMF Bank, like Christine, what's her name? Oh my God, I forget her name. Christine Lagarde. Yeah. She's the managing director. And again, all for this genocide that's going on. The United Nations is a genocidal organization. There's millions of Christians are being killed. We're allowing Muslims to overrun everywhere, and you can't say that they're radical. Could you imagine Christians going around killing people? There'd be such an outcry. But no, Muslims do it. Oh, they're just radical, you know. And it's madness. It's madness. Because these people are a threat. You don't know where they are. Now, these people I'm talking about in Brazil, remember Brazil? So Brazil's got it so bad that, because of the oil prices and everything else, they were thriving just a little while ago. Well, again, the economy's in the toilet because they steal all the money from the middle class and the lower class with all of this. It's just the way that it works. Socialism works. It doesn't take from the rich. It just makes the rich richer. Those at the top. Everyone else gets put to the bottom. And the dictator, they're in relationships with corporations. Our government doesn't work for the people. It is a corporation, incorporated by the Act of 1871. It is a company, and it does business with other companies, and that's who they favor, not the people. We're the collateral. We're the chattel. We're the collateral for the debt. Do you not know that? Do you not realize that? I guess you don't. Doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. So in this country known as Azerbaijan, the IMF Bank and the World Bank banksters the nation killers are going there to discuss a $4 billion emergency loan package because of the crashing oil prices. Now, this follows a currency crisis that was triggered by the collapsing crude. It also comes amid concerns that two global institutions over emerging market producers from Central Asia to Latin America are going to be affected. And Brazil, which is now mired in its worst recession in more than a century, and Ecuador, the oil-driven crisis in Venezuela has raised the possibility of repaired relations between the fund and Caracas, a IMF staff person. So the IMF Bank is already in there in Venezuela, who are suffering, and they're going to get their little mitts into Brazil. And what they're doing is controlling the financial interests of these countries, and they've been doing it over and over again. They control the political and financial resources. That is the goal of the Council on Foreign Relations. Read a book called Tragedy and Hope by Carroll Quigley. He details directly into it, where he admits it, that the goal is to create a feudalist government that controls a feudalist system that controls the people through tyranny, basically, through a two-class system, which is feudalism, and they actually take all of the resources and the political power of every country in the world and control it. so that they can continue to do what they're doing, bringing in their new world order. He wrote about this in 1966. He had 20 years of access to the Council on Foreign Relations and to their records for 2 years to make this 1,300-page book. You need to read it. You know, they're working for this. And people that are, he agreed with it. There are people, the problem is, people think that what they're trying to do is a noble, good thing. But it's never worked in history and it never will. And the dark side of it is that a small group of these people have very nefarious intentions against us. And we can't deny it. It's happening. I mean, we can see it happening. They're destroying the Constitution. They're traitors. All of these trade deals, NAFTA, GATT, now the Trans-Pacific Partnership, even the unions are waking up that they're being used. They don't care about the people. They really never have. And if they put something in place that works for a little while or a couple of generations, people get used to it and they think it's always going to be there, like Social Security. It's not always going to be there. It can't with all the spending. Anybody, normal person would understand you can't run an operation like this. Countries fall. They're destroying us intentionally. Huge trade imbalances. Devaluing of our dollar through the Federal Reserve Crime Syndicate. Stealing our property. Seizing our property. Doing things the British government did to the British subjects, the colonists. We're far more taxed and far more oppressed than we were by Great Britain at that time. By our own government. Wake up! Obama's not going to help you. Hillary's not going to help you. Bernie Sanders is certainly not going to help you raising taxes 95%. No way! Trump's probably not going to even help you either because they'll kill him. Because if he's for real, and I don't know if he's for real or not, but if he is, you could put him down one of the, you could put a check mark next to him as one of the dead presidents. Because this is a mafia we're dealing with. We're dealing with the crime syndicate. And the only way that we can do it to get rid of them is collectively as a force and just say, no, we must end the Federal Reserve. We must stop this. We must put term limits. We must chain these criminals and imprison them. We must. And the traitors, try them and execute them. Come on, let's be serious here. This is not a joke. Our country's falling apart. Brazil and all of these South American countries, I'm telling you right now, Azerbaijan and these other countries, the oil prices are tanking. Guatemala, there's poverty and terribleness there. They're flooding across our borders with diseases. Diseases are coming out. It's coming out now, these strange diseases that have never happened. It's unbelievable. They don't care. They just let them come in. They don't check them for any diseases, nothing. They want to give everybody a flu shot and vaccinate you, except if you're an immigrant coming in here. It's unbelievable. They want to steal your land where the federal government owns 75% of the land out in the West, if not more. All this land, what do they own the land for? What is it? They're preserving it. Let's thank Theodore Roosevelt for this. Right? Well, no, it's promised to the United Nations and Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030. If you're keeping up with it, and what they're doing is they're bringing everybody into small cities, just cities, and they want everybody to live in cities, and the rural areas are going to be left alone, and they're going to collectivize everybody, and they're bringing people in. Left and right, the borders it's insane. The Republicans been complaining about it for 50 years and don't do anything about it while they complain about it. Democrats, they love it because it's their type of people. They're going to vote for them. It's great to get people that don't speak English, don't care about your culture, don't care about your the way you live, hate America really. They just want to get the free benefits. That's a disgusting thing. To be a human being like that, they say you have to have compassion, you have to have, sympathy and pity.